The night of my 18th birthday was supposed to be the happiest night of my life. For weeks I had imagined it. Friends gathered in the living room, cake glowing with candles, my mother smiling, and maybe even my stepfather, Conrad, for once showing pride instead of irritation when he looked at me. I thought maybe turning 18 would change something, like a switch flipping. I thought that finally I would be treated like part of the family, not like an intruder who just happened to live under the same roof. The house was warm with lights and laughter that evening. Friends from school had come, some neighbors too. Balloons floated near the ceiling, and the smell of chocolate cake filled the air. My mother had baked it herself, though she hadn't spoken much to me while she worked. She had been distracted all day, moving quietly around the kitchen, glancing at Conrad as if checking for his approval. Conrad, tall and broad-shouldered, stood near the dining table with a glass of soda in his hand, his expression as stern as ever. He had raised me since I was 3 years old, but he never called me his son. He called me boy or kid, or sometimes nothing at all. When I was younger, I tried to win his affection, drawing him pictures, following him around, begging for his attention. But nothing worked. As I grew older, his indifference turned to open dislike. Every mistake I made, no matter how small, he reminded me of it for weeks. Still, that night, I told myself things might be different. 18 was special. Maybe Conrad would finally say something kind. When everyone gathered around me to sing happy birthday, I closed my eyes and made my wish. It wasn't for money or success or anything grand. I wished for something simple, to belong. I blew out the candles, and applause filled the room. For one brief second, I felt like I had what I had always wanted. But then Conrad cleared his throat. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, his voice deep and cold, "before this night goes any further, I have something to say." The room went quiet. My friends glanced at one another, confused. I turned to him, heart racing. Maybe this was it. Maybe he was about to say he was proud of me. Conrad's lips curled into a smile that wasn't really a smile. "This boy here," he said, jabbing a finger at me, "is not my son." The words sliced through the air. Whispers broke out among the guests. My hands froze on the edge of the cake. Conrad continued, his voice dripping with cruelty. 18 years. 18 years I've put up with him in my house, eating my food, carrying my name. But tonight he's grown. He's an adult now, and I won't keep pretending. I stared at him, my throat dry. "What are you talking about?" He stepped closer, towering over me. "You're not mine. You never were. You were a burden left on my shoulders, and tonight I'm setting myself free. Pack your things. You're leaving." Laughter didn't come. No one clapped. The silence was thick, except for the pounding of my heart. I looked at my mother, desperate for her to say something, anything, to tell him to stop, to defend me, but she stood there, eyes down, hands folded in front of her. She didn't speak. Her silence burned worse than his words. The guests shifted uncomfortably. Some muttered excuses and slipped out the door. My friends looked at me with wide eyes but said nothing. One by one, the room emptied until it was just me, Conrad, and my mother. Conrad grabbed a plastic bag from the counter, stuffed in the clothes I had left in the laundry, and shoved it against my chest. "Out." I held the bag, trembling. "Where am I supposed to go?" He shrugged. "Not my problem." My mother finally looked at me, but her face was pale, expression unreadable. She opened her mouth as if to speak, then closed it again. She turned away. That was it. I walked to the door, each step heavier than the last. I wanted to scream, to beg, to demand an explanation, but the words caught in my throat. I opened the door and stepped out into the night. Rain poured down, soaking me instantly. The cold wind slapped against my skin, but I barely felt it. My chest hurt too much. I walked down the street, clutching the plastic bag like it was all I had left of my life. The world blurred through tears and raindrops. My sneakers splashed in puddles as I stumbled forward with no destination. Every step echoed with Conrad's voice. "You're not my son. You never were." I thought about all the years I had spent trying to earn his love. All the times I had waited for him to pat my shoulder, to say, "Good job," to tell me I mattered. It had all been wasted. 18 years wasted. The rain grew heavier. Cars passed, headlights slicing through the storm, but none slowed. I kept walking, not knowing where I was going, not caring. For a moment I thought about stopping, just standing there in the street until the storm swallowed me whole. But something inside pushed me forward. A tiny spark of stubbornness, maybe, or hope. I didn't know. That's when I heard it, the low hum of an engine. A black car slowed as it approached me, its headlights dim through the sheets of rain. It rolled to a stop beside me. The window slid down with a soft mechanical sound. I froze, clutching the bag to my chest. Inside, a man sat behind the wheel. His face was calm, unreadable. He looked at me like he had been searching for me all night. "Adrian," he said. His voice was steady, confident. I blinked, my throat tight. "Who are you?" The man's eyes softened. "Your father sent me." The rain fell harder. The words cut through the storm, leaving me rooted to the spot. My father? But Conrad had just told me. I opened my mouth, but no words came out. My heart pounded louder than the rain. The man reached into the glove compartment and pulled something out, but I couldn't see what it was. For a second, I thought of running, but my legs wouldn't move. He held it up, a photograph, sealed in a plastic sleeve to protect it from the rain. Even through the storm, I could see it. A younger man, smiling proudly, cradling a newborn baby in his arms. Me. The man in the car looked at me, his expression firm. "Get in. There's something you need to know." I stood there, drenched, the plastic bag sagging in my arms. My life turned upside down in less than an hour. And for the first time in my life, I wondered if Conrad had told me the truth, or if my entire past had been a lie. I stood frozen in the rain, staring at the photograph the stranger held through the open window. Water streamed down my face, but I wasn't sure if it was rain or tears. My chest felt tight, my thoughts spinning like a wheel that wouldn't stop. The man's calm eyes never left mine. His voice, low but steady, carried a strange weight. "Adrian, get in the car. You're not safe out here." Safe. That word struck me like lightning. Safe? I hadn't felt safe in years. Not in Conrad's house, not in that so-called family. And now a stranger was telling me that my real father had sent him? I shook my head slowly, backing up a step. "No, I don't know you." The man didn't look offended. He simply nodded, like he expected me to resist. "You don't have to trust me yet, but trust this." He tapped the photograph with his finger. "That's your real father. He's alive, and he's been searching for you for 18 years. The photograph trembled in his hand as the rain tried to soak through the sleeve. I couldn't stop staring at it. The young man in the picture had my eyes, the shape of his jaw, even the awkward tilt of his smile. I had seen it in the mirror 100 times. It was me. My voice cracked when I spoke. "Why now? Why after all this time?" The stranger sighed, a long, heavy sound. "Because tonight you turned 18, and some truths can't wait any longer." The storm howled around us, thunder rumbling across the sky. My clothes clung to me, my shoes squelched with every step. I was freezing, exhausted, and completely lost. Part of me screamed to run away, but another part, small, desperate, hungry for answers, whispered to get in that car. I tightened my grip on the plastic bag Conrad had thrown at me. It wasn't much, just shirts and jeans wrinkled and damp. My whole life. "Where would you even take me?" I asked, my voice trembling. "To the truth," the man said simply. I swallowed hard. My heart pounded against my ribs. Finally, almost without realizing it, I pulled open the car door and slid inside. The leather seats were warm, the air thick with the scent of pine from a small freshener clipped to the vent. For the first time all night, I wasn't drenched, but the chill inside me didn't fade. The man started the engine, the car humming softly as it pulled away from the curb. Raindrops raced across the windshield, chased by the wipers. Silence hung between us for a while. I glanced at him cautiously. He was in his late 30s, maybe early 40s. dark hair with a touch of gray at the temples. Clean, sharp jaw. His suit was simple but expensive, like he belonged in places I had never even dreamed of. He kept his eyes on the road as he spoke. "My name is Marcus. I work for your father." I clutched the photograph still in my lap. "You mean my real father?" Marcus nodded. "Yes, his name is Daniel. He's been searching for you since the day you were taken from him." The words hit me like a blow. "Taken? What do you mean, taken?" Marcus's grip on the steering wheel tightened. He didn't answer right away, choosing his words carefully. 18 years ago, something happened. Something that separated you from your father. Lies were told. Papers were signed. And by the time he realized what had happened, it was too late. You were already gone. My mind spun. Memories of my childhood flashed in my head. Always feeling different, always sensing something was off. The way Conrad never called me son, the way my mother avoided questions about when I was born, the way relatives sometimes stared at me with strange expressions. Why didn't he come for me? My voice cracked, more angry than I expected. Marcus sighed. He tried. But the system was against him. He was told you were lost, that there was nothing he could do. Still, he never gave up. For 18 years, he searched. Quietly, carefully, waiting for the right time. And now, Marcus glanced at me, his eyes soft. Now the time has come. I looked down at the photograph again. The young man in it, my father, Daniel, looked so alive, so proud, holding the baby version of me as though I was the most precious thing in the world. My throat tightened. "But Conrad," he said. I stopped myself. Conrad's words echoed in my head. "You're not my real son. You were a burden left on my shoulders." Maybe, for once, he hadn't been lying. The car sped through the storm, headlights carving a path in the darkness. Buildings faded away, replaced by long stretches of empty road lined with trees. I realized we were leaving the city. "Where are we going?" I asked nervously. "To see him," Marcus said. "To see your father." My heart skipped. The idea felt impossible, like a dream I would wake from at any moment. But the weight of the photograph in my hands told me it was real. The silence in the car grew heavier. My mind kept circling the same questions. What if Marcus was lying? What if this was some cruel trick? But deep down, I couldn't deny what I had seen. The man in that photo was connected to me. Marcus must have sensed my doubt. "You look like him, you know," he said quietly. "Same eyes. Same stubborn expression when you're afraid." I turned to the window, watching raindrops blur the world outside. Stubborn. Maybe that was true, because despite everything, part of me still resisted believing. We drove for what felt like hours. The storm began to fade, the rain thinning to a drizzle. The road curved into hills and forests, the glow of the city far behind us. My eyelids grew heavy, exhaustion pulling me down, but adrenaline kept me awake. At one point, Marcus broke the silence again. "Do you remember ever feeling like you didn't belong?" I let out a hollow laugh. "Always. Every single day." He nodded, as if that was exactly what he expected. "That's because you were living someone else's life, not the one meant for you." His words lingered in the car like smoke. Finally, the tires crunched against gravel as Marcus turned down a narrow path. Trees surrounded us, tall and dark, their branches bending like they wanted to keep secrets. We drove deeper until, at last, the trees parted and I saw it. A house. No, not just a house. A villa. It stood tall and proud against the night, its windows glowing warmly, cutting through the darkness like beacons. Ivy climbed the stone walls, and lanterns lined the path leading to the front door. It was beautiful, almost unreal, like something out of a dream. Marcus stopped the car in front of the steps. He turned to me, his expression serious. "He's waiting for you inside." My hands trembled around the photograph. My heart raced so fast I thought it would burst. This was it, the moment I had imagined my whole life without even knowing it. The truth. I opened the car door slowly, the night air cool and damp on my skin. Gravel crunched under my shoes as I stepped out, my bag hanging loosely at my side. I climbed the steps, each one heavier than the last. The front door loomed before me, tall and wooden, with golden handles that gleamed under the lantern light. My chest felt like it might explode. I lifted my hand, hesitated, then knocked. For a moment, nothing happened. Then I heard footsteps on the other side. The door creaked open, and there he was. A man stood in the doorway, older than the one in the photograph but unmistakably the same person. His hair was touched with silver now, his eyes deeper, but the resemblance was undeniable. His gaze locked on mine, and in that instant, I felt something I had never felt before. Recognition. His lips parted, his voice breaking with emotion. "Adrian, my son." The bag slipped from my fingers, landing softly on the porch. My knees nearly gave out. All the years of doubt, of emptiness, of wondering where I truly belonged, crashed over me in a single wave. And before I could stop myself, tears poured down my face. The man in the doorway, my real father, stood frozen as if afraid I might disappear if he blinked. His hands trembled at his sides, his chest rising and falling with uneven breaths. His eyes, they were the same as mine. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The world seemed to hold its breath. Then he stepped forward, his voice cracking with raw emotion. "Adrian, it's you." After all these years, I felt my throat close. The storm, the humiliation, Conrad's cruel words. All of it faded as I stared at the man in front of me. I didn't know whether to run into his arms or collapse from the weight of it all. Before I could react, he crossed the space between us and wrapped his arms around me. His embrace was strong, desperate, as though he was holding on to life itself. For a moment, I stood stiffly, shocked. Then something inside me broke. My arms rose and clung to him, and I wept into his shoulder. It was the first time in my life I had felt what it meant to be truly wanted. When he finally pulled back, his hands stayed on my shoulders, his gaze drinking me in like he couldn't believe I was real. "You've grown so much. I missed everything. Your first steps, your first words, your first day of school. And it kills me every single day that I wasn't there." I swallowed hard. My voice was barely a whisper. "Why? Why wasn't I with you? What happened?" His face darkened, sorrow mixing with anger. "Because you were taken from me." He led me inside, guiding me through the warm glow of the villa. The air smelled faintly of wood and old books, the walls lined with photographs, paintings, and shelves. Everything about the place felt alive, filled with history and meaning, not like Conrad's cold, hollow house. We entered a study with a crackling fireplace. The heat washed over me, drying my soaked clothes. He motioned for me to sit, but he remained standing, pacing slowly as though the weight of his story was too heavy to carry while still. "When you were born," he began, his voice low, "your mother and I were together. We were young, and life wasn't easy, but we loved you. You were our world. I swore I would give you everything. But then, lies started weaving into our lives." I stared at him, my hands gripping the arm of the chair. "Lies?" He nodded grimly. "Your mother's family didn't approve of me. They said I couldn't provide for you, that I wasn't good enough. And Conrad, he was there, always whispering, always circling. He wanted her, wanted you. And when I made a mistake, when I lost my job and struggled to pay rent, they struck. Papers were drawn up, threats were made, and before I knew it, custody was taken from me. They told the courts lies, things I never did. By the time I fought back, you were already gone." My chest ached. "So all this time you were alive. You were out there. And my voice cracked. "I thought I was just unwanted." His eyes glistened. "Never. Not for a single second. You are my son. I searched for you every day. But your mother moved. Conrad kept you away, and the world made it almost impossible. Until now. Until tonight." I buried my face in my hands, anger and grief swirling inside me. All those years, the birthdays I spent alone, the nights I cried myself to sleep wondering why I didn't matter. All because of them. He knelt in front of me, his hands firm on my knees. "Adrian, listen to me. None of that was your fault. You are not a mistake. You are not unwanted. You are my son. And I love you." The words shattered the walls I had built around my heart. I sobbed openly, years of pain spilling out in broken gasps. He pulled me into another embrace, letting me cry until the storm inside me calmed. When I finally lifted my head, he wiped the tears from my face with a gentle hand. "There's more you need to know," he said. "Your grandfather, my father, passed away recently. He left something for you. Something he wanted you to have the moment we found each other again." He walked to a drawer in his desk and pulled out a sealed envelope. My name, Adrian, was written across the front in handwriting that trembled with age. My fingers shook as I took it. Slowly, I tore it open and unfolded the letter inside. The words blurred at first through my tears, but I blinked until they cleared. "My dearest grandson, if you are reading this, it means you have been found. For many years, I feared the world had stolen you from us forever. But I never stopped believing you would come home. You are part of this family, and nothing can change that. Not lies, not distance, not time. I cannot give you the years we lost, but I can give you my love, my blessing, and this truth. You were born into a legacy of strength and resilience. You carry within you the spirit of those who came before. Do not let the cruelty of others define you. Create your own path, and know that you are never alone. This home and all that I leave behind is yours. But more importantly, my love is yours. Welcome home, Adrian." Signed, Your Grandfather. The letter slipped from my hands onto my lap. Tears streamed down my face again, but they weren't only of pain. There was something else now. Hope. My father placed a hand on my shoulder. "He waited his whole life to see you again. And though he didn't get the chance, his heart never let go of you." I nodded, unable to speak. For the first time in my life, I felt like I belonged. Not because of money, not because of obligation, but because of love. We talked for hours that night. He told me stories of my childhood I didn't remember, the way I used to grip his finger when I was a baby, the first time I laughed, how he would sing to me to put me to sleep. I listened, drinking in every word like water in a desert. As dawn painted the sky with soft light, I realized something. My past with Conrad and my mother would always hurt, but it didn't define me anymore. I wasn't the boy they discarded. I was the son who had been found. When I finally stood to leave the study and rest, my father stopped me at the door. "Adrian," he said, his voice steady, "you don't have to go back. This is your home now, if you'll have it." I looked back at him, my heart swelling with emotions I could barely hold. I thought about Conrad's cold eyes, my mother's silence, the emptiness of that house I once called home. And then I thought about the warmth of this place, the way my father looked at me with pride, the letter that spoke of love stronger than time itself. I took a deep breath. "I want to stay." His face broke into a smile, pure, unguarded joy. He stepped forward and pulled me into one final embrace. And in that moment I knew the truth. Family isn't the people who raise you with cruelty. Family isn't the ones who feed you but starve your heart. Family is the ones who never stop searching for you, who never stop loving you, even when the world tries to keep you apart. For 18 years I thought I was unwanted. But I was wrong. I was loved all along.